Now get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 84 months, plus great customer instant rebates and a 6-year warranty. Now through December 31st, 2017. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Visit your local Kubota dealer, Hermanson's Equipment in Ephraim, or find your local Kubota dealer online at UtahKubotaDealers.com.
Can I play with madness?
Welcome to Dr. Grimmy's Old Time Medicine Show and Conversation Extravaganza. Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, and any others. If you have something that ails you, a problem, a challenge, a struggle, we have the cure. Are you bored, disdainful, thoughtful, maudlin, frustrated, or constipated? We have the cure that you have been waiting for. Myself, world-famous Dr. Grimmy, and my faithful and erstwhile assistant, Jake the Snake Garn, Cosmic Serpent, master of hidden wisdom, and owner of copious amounts of inner light. We will teach you, you will learn, and you will be happy. And so, my fine ladies and gentlemen, and others, please step right up. All you have to do is listen. We will sell you the right snake oil. It will cure what ails you, and if nothing ails you, it'll cure that too. We will teach you the secrets of the ages and the esotericness of esoteric. So enter with us now into the inner circle of sacred wisdom. Here you will find what you're looking for. Welcome back to Dr. Grimmy's Old Time Medicine Show and Conversation Extravaganza. We're going to bring you some mysteries today. We're going to talk about top secret military bases in the United States. We're going to be teaching you secrets. Probably get us in trouble. So if you hear the government come in and start thumping on us, please come and help. If nothing else, give us a call. You can reach us at 801-254-1640. It's 801-254-1640. Give us a call. Let us know if you have any secrets. I've got my friend Big D here.
Hello, Dr. Grimmy.
Go ahead and
How
let's
are you tonight?
make sure we got you all turned on there.
I'm really excited to talk about these mysteries of these bases. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Excellent. I've had a lot of fun is what this is all about. I don't talk politics if I can avoid it.
Yeah, no politics for me either.
So that's where we're going to go. Before we get started, I've been asked to say something. In this time of caring and giving, K-Talk Media wants your help to provide Christmas trees to those in need. Brighten a family's holiday. KTalkMedia.com and click on Donate, or you can call us here at the office at 801-253-4883. Every $35 donation allows K-Talk to provide a $70 tree to a family in need. So if you would prefer to gift the tree to someone you know that has a need, we can do that too. We can provide you with a voucher, and you can go get the tree directly. Nothing says Christmas like a Christmas tree.
That's really good. And this time of year, you really need that. The kids are especially.
Yeah, that was a big deal about, when I was a kid,
right.
having a Christmas tree. So give us a hand and make Christmas Christmassy for somebody. And it's not horribly expensive, about the cost of a couple of Big Macs.
Yeah, I know about that.
Yep, they're not cheap. So like we said, we were going to talk about top secret bases. Now, what is this? Now, you mentioned there's something about the 39th parallel.
From what I've understood, the 39th parallel, it's all basically all the way around the earth. You have the 39th parallel. And from the west coast to the east coast of the United States, there are bases that are located on that parallel that connect under the ground. The government's gone in and they have it to where they can go from one area to another in order to do what they do.
And we don't know what voodoo that they do.
They do, yeah.
Other than it's classified. It's a secret.
And, you think, okay, well, some secrets are good, but you need to know some stuff, too. They're keeping things that the people need to know about.
Well, I've always believed that the three reasons they make something secret is one, and probably the one that's least used, is because of military necessity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the next reason is because it's really, really expensive.
Well, yeah, and they don't want the people to know they're paying for
it. What we're spending our money on. And then the last one is it's really, really stupid. and they don't want anybody to know about
the $700 hammers and $1,400 toilet seats.
exactly stuff like that.
But of course, that money isn't actually that money. That money is the toilet seat's only $2, but of course the rest is going to like we're
To
saying.
somebody. Yep.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish I could sell toilet seats for that kind of money.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd be in a different line of work. So, not all. I found a big. I went through in hearing this about this 39th parallel, and I looked at what secret bases are in the United
Right.
States. And the first
Right.
one I found was in the United States, but it's not on the 39th parallel. So maybe I'm confused.
Okay.
I don't know, but it was what is called the High Frequency
Oh,
Active Aurora Research Program.
that is a HARP.
That is a big mouthful,
is
so we
HARP.
don't say that every time we mention it. We say HARP.
Right.
Some of you may have heard of HARP. This is the big antenna thingy up in Alaska that has been said to control the weather. To mind control, that the frequencies are like your brains, and they can control people's minds.
Some of what I've heard is that they receive from other areas and then bounce that around the earth. So they're getting it from outer space and then it's coming around the earth. So that's one theory.
Here, let me give you the official lowdown on what HARP, what the government tells us that HARP is. It was initially started by the Air Force, the Department of Defense, and the University of Alaska, and they got together to do this research on the high altitude stuff. These auroral research. Apparently, at a certain part of the atmosphere is a thingy we call the ionosphere. And what they had planned, what they had hoped to do was to be able to send signals to this ionosphere and bounce them around the world.
Right.
So there was a couple of issues with that, is that during the day, apparently, the sunlight strips the electrons off of some of the stuff in the ionosphere and makes them ions. And when you hit ions with a signal, with an energy, it bounces off. It also bounces off at very low frequency. And that's pretty handy for talking to submarines and things like that. So they were trying to develop a way to effectively talk to submarines. Now, whether they were able to work it out, who knows? Because now it's just the University of Alaska took over this facility. The Air Force and this other entity, the Department of Defense, from what we're hearing, aren't involved.
Right.
Right. But the interesting part about that is that can they actually control a person's mind with radio waves that match the frequencies in our brains?
There's a lot of hysteria, maybe you would say, that a lot of these mass shootings and these people just going crazy, there's something to that.
Well, that's a thought.
Yeah.
If we're impacting people's brain waves, what is the impact? What's going on?
Yeah.
One of the arguments is that the energy levels, when you talk to the scientists at HARP, and people have asked them these questions, they've said, listen, the amount of energy that we're zapping out to the ionosphere is so low that we can barely measure it, let alone have it impact somebody else's brain. I don't know. That sounds like a guy by the name of Bernard Eastlund, however, was a plasma physicist who said he worked for the Strategic Defense Initiative, which was what we all know as Star Wars, and then later he was with the Advanced Power Technologies Incorporated, which was the original company that was working with the Air Force and the Department of Defense and the University of Alaska. He worked with those guys, and he was tasked with building HARP. He claimed that HARP was built with his patents and was used to modify the weather, disable satellites, as well as talk
to submarines and other people on the planet?
I would just interject something real quick that when as you know, I served with the military and I was deployed to Iraq, and while we were there, I was on a detainee ops prison camp as a prison guard, basically, and we had a device that used radio waves to stun you. These would the closer you got to this machine, which they have and they use for crowd control, they mount them on Humvees. It's just basically, it sounds a lot like a lower what we used and was trained with. It's a lower scale to possibly this HAARP.
Huh.
So, and it definitely works, because the closer I got to it, the more my stomach started turning. You feel like you're going to throw up, and then the closer you get, you'll cramp right up and go right on the ground. And it'll control you.
Wow.
So
that would
that's
be
just some firsthand knowledge of that. But if you've got, say, if you got something as big as this HAARP is, what's that going to do when something like that you can mount on a Humvee can do to a crowd of, say, 100 detainees trying to crash through the gate?
Right.
So,
well, what if it's
idea.
What if it's some of these Antifa types that are running around and throwing rocks and bricks and stuff like that? That could be a handy. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hopefully.
Yeah. They determined that we, at that particular base that I was at, didn't need it on a regular basis.
Right.
We controlled them with non-lethal, and basically you did have your lethal, but we were able to control them with the non-lethal type, like rubber bullets, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So, but we did.
But that's especially if it's a technology that they're letting privates play with, letting young soldiers play with. That they've either don't know anything about it or they've got it all figured out.
Yeah, I think they got it all figured out.
So it's hard to say, So there's an idea that sound waves can have an impact on us physically. And HAARP, well, it generates sound waves through the ionosphere and bounces them all over the planet. So, I wonder now, why would you want to control somebody? I mean, do you want them?
Well,
I mean, if I were the government, what would be my interest in controlling somebody with radio waves? Would I want them to vote a certain way?
You vote a certain way, maybe, like I said, the government will want to stop mass hysteria by using sound waves, and it is enough time to bring in the people they want to control you physically. So something like that.
I'm kind of nervous. Well, there's another book out there by a guy named Jerry Smith. He wrote a book called HAARP, The Ultimate Weapon of the Conspiracy. He suspected that HAARP was rushed into completion after the 2005 hurricane season, which included Katrina, with the idea that they could use it to keep the storms from making landfall. Now, since 2005, we've had two or three pretty big hurricanes, so if that's the case, this may be a government boondoggle. Millions of dollars for nothing. We've never done that before in the United States.
I actually was in Western Louisiana and in New Orleans helping out with that after Katrina and Rita.
Wow.
So I experienced that.
And hurricanes are not your friend.
No.
But you really don't need to die, because it's not like a hurricane swerves and gets you. The hurricane's coming.
We've got enough to know to get out.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. If you're killed by a hurricane, it's because you're not paying attention.
You're wanting to drink hurricanes.
Yep. Yep. You're a hurricane watcher. There is some argument, a conspiracy argument, that says that the HAARP was involved in the destruction of the Columbia shuttle in 2003, that they were in the middle of a particular test. The test went wrong, and the shuttle was damaged. I don't know.
Is that the one when the piece fell off?
Right.
Or is that
this is the one that was.
That come back in and it
was missing tiles.
Missing tile.
Yeah.
Well, the tile part broke off and broke the tile.
The ice fell off and broke the tile, and then when it was re-entering it.
Right.
So that goes back to the scientists are saying that, you know, we use such a small signal that we have trouble measuring it. A lightning strike is much more powerful than anything we have done. But, you know, it's easy to say that. I don't know. It'd be interesting to have somebody look at what it is we're looking at.
They're
This holiday season, K-Talk Media is thankful for
Anyway,
all of
we're
our
on a break.
amazing
We'll
listeners.
talk to you in a minute.
You are truly the best part of K-Talk. Thank you.
In this time of caring and giving, K-Talk Media wants your help to provide
2 minutes.
Christmas trees for
Well, a
those in
little
need. Brighten a family's holiday by going to
You got a minute and 80
ktalkmedia.com
seconds.
and click on Donate or call 801-253-4883. Every $35 donation allows K-Talk to provide a $70 tree to a family in need. If you would prefer to gift the tree to someone you know that has a need, we can provide you with a voucher when you donate, and you can gift the tree directly. Nothing says Christmas like a Christmas tree. Visit ktalkmedia.com or call 801-253-4883. That's 801-253-4883. Donate a tree and brighten someone's holiday. Everyone builds SUVs, but when you're ready to step up to the ultimate off-road machines available, there's only one place to go. Plan B Supply in Ogden builds customized Humvees and military trucks ready for anything you can throw at them. Not only do they look mean and have the ultimate upgrades available, but they're built with a purpose, for people with a purpose. Everyone's SUVs are decent when the roads are slick, but Plan B's SUVs are for when you want to make your own road through tough terrain, in a tornado, wearing a tuxedo, with a grizzly bear riding shotgun, holding a shotgun, and waving an American flag. Visit our facility at 194 West 33rd Street in Ogden, Utah, or visit our website at planbsupply.com. You can call Plan B Supply at 801-675-4321. That's 801-675-4321. Make Doomsday sweet and make your friends' jaws drop. Drive a real SUV from Plan B Supply.
Hi, this is Matt with M&T Christmas Trees, 9000 South State Street, Sandy, Utah. We've been in business down here since 1984. We look forward to showing you off our really pretty trees, every size, every color, and every shape. And when I say color, I'm talking, you want a purple tree, a blue tree, you want a Smurf blue tree? No problem. Wooden reindeer, we have snowman to take home. Come on down, check it out. The reindeer will be landing November 22nd. You don't want to miss out with your family. The fire's going, we'll leave the light on for you. So come on down, check it out. You'll have fun, and you'll have to even find the hot tub somewhere out there in the forest.
And we're back. We're talking about HARP, High Altitude Aurora, something, what did I say? Aurora Research Program.
and you were saying how the professor there, they are saying that they're only sending small amounts of energy out.
Just a little bit.
But it sounds kind of strange to me. If that's the case, why do they need such a big facility? It's huge.
This is true.
Yes.
This is true.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So doesn't sound all
Hey, if you're a physicist and can answer that particular question, give us a call, 801-254-1640. We are live radio, real people asking real questions.
We're here.
We will hear what you're saying. Try to stump us. Ask a question we don't know the answer to. You know, I think what's going on is, because this is my experience, is that every so often, I hate McDonald's.
Oh.
I do. I don't really like McDonald's, but every so often I
Right.
get this undeniable urge to have McDonald's, and I go eat McDonald's, and after it's done, I swear I'm never going to eat McDonald's again.
Oh, really?
And then all of a sudden I do. So maybe
Maybe they're telling you.
McDonald's is paying HARP
Well,
to send signals to my brain.
It's probably the University of Alaska's getting paid.
Something, yeah. McDonald's is paying these guys because
Yeah.
I go there anyway. It's like mind control because I don't seem to have any control over it. It's kind of scary.
I honestly think they put something in the fries. And that
They
Coke,
are different.
That
than most fries.
Coke, their Coke is definitely different.
Ha.
They have a CEO of their beverages that they do something to their beverages They get it from Coca-Cola, and then they do something to it, and then send it to the stores.
Wow. What do you think they do?
I tell you, it's enhanced with something. They're putting oxygen in it, or they're making the flavoring different in their Coke, because it's definitely you want more and more and more. They've got to be some MSG or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I swear on the radio in front of all these witnesses that I am not going to eat McDonald's ever again until next time.
One of the biggest falsehoods is diet soda.
I love diet soda.
Diet soda, that is just crazy. You're better to drink the real stuff than to drink that diet stuff.
I've gotten to where I really like diet.
Well,
I'm doomed.
That's good.
Doomed. Has anybody had any physical effects from drinking diet soda? Give us a call, 254-1640. So the next secret base, we talked about a HAARP. That's a secret base. They don't want to tell us the truth or what's going on, or it's just little tiny signals. You know, they're not doing anything.
Maybe they'll change our minds and we won't talk about it anymore.
Right. So we have another, right here at home, we have a secret military base.
We do, and we're both very familiar with it.
Dugway Proving Ground. Dun, dun, dun. It's the size of Rhode Island, they say, and I don't know much about Rhode Island, but I guess that's a thing. Is Rhode Island, isn't that the tiniest state?
I'm not sure. I've been a lot of states.
Because it says like as big as Rhode Island, and I'm thinking like, well, that's like saying as big as Texas, but I think Rhode Island is big, but it's not.
Dugway's pretty big.
I know, right? It's pretty darn big.
So, yeah.
So they do. It started a few days after World War II started. It was designed as a testing ground for weapons and that sort of thing, primarily chemical warfare. Yeah, because they were concerned about the use of chemical weapons. World War I had been
based on World War I, right?
Had been a huge use of chemical weapons, and so they started this testing at Dugway way back then.
Well, and back then you didn't have everything like you have now. I mean,
right, there wasn't very many.
There
was nothing out there.
There's nobody out there.
And so now they do the same thing, and they do clothing and detection equipment. Is their primary. Primary stuff they do. A guy by the name of Dr. Stephen Greer doesn't have much faith in Dugway. They call him a leading ufologist, a UFO expert.
Stephen Greer.
He says he gave up a $400,000 a year career in medicine. He's a doctor. To make contact with extraterrestrials and expose what he found was a giant cover-up by the U.S. government dating back to the early 40s. Greer, along with the people who believe that a UFO did indeed land at Roswell and crash, and that they confiscated the remains or those that were still alive and the flying saucer, and are using that material to reverse engineer all of this technology, and that part of that project is going on at Dugway. That is the new, what was it called? The
new Area 52.
Right, because a lot of classified stuff, we can't, in the old Area 51, there used to be a place that was BLM land that the public could go to and overlook the base.
Yeah, I believe they called that Peekaboo.
Freedom Ridge or something.
Freedom Ridge.
Yeah,
there's a Peekaboo, I think Peekaboo is where you would go. But you can't really see in there hardly at all now.
So they swapped that land so that people couldn't do that anymore. So obviously they're still doing stuff.
Right.
Or they want us to believe they're still doing stuff. So the thought is that you can't see anything from anywhere about Dugway.
No.
I mean, if you on any side of Dugway, you're pretty much.
And the fly zones goes to the stratosphere.
Yes, and it is a no-fly zone.
You'll get shot down for sure.
You're not allowed to fly over that space.
Yeah. Just like Area 51 was the same way. Yep.
So, Dr. Greer is perhaps one would question his arguments because he's a believer. However, some of the claims he makes are supported by other witness statements. We have the former CEO of what was the name of the company he was the CEO of? I believe it was Lockheed Martin.
Oh, yeah.
The
big-
former
big
CEO of
company.
Lockheed Martin, Dr. Ben Rich, admitted on his deathbed that for years he had been working with a secret military operation developing anti-gravity technology. So I've heard that before, that
yep.
anti-gravity technology is one of the scientific things they've been working on from alien technology. And he believed that they had the ability at that point to take E.T. home. Here's a quote from Dr. Ben Rich. "We already have the means to travel among the stars, but these technologies are locked up in black projects, and it would take an act of God ever to get them out to benefit humanity. Anything you can imagine, we already know how to do." Dr. Rich admitted that earlier in his career, he agreed that the public should not know about these secret programs. Late in his life, he concluded that the multinational corporate board of directors who were over this secret program posed more of a potential threat to the United States than ETs or the technology that was being developed. And Dr. Greer made the claim that there was anti-gravity stuff going on, and this Dr. Rich, who was a CEO of the company involved in a lot of this, on his deathbed, said that was the case. So that's a couple of pretty solid statements from reasonably solid people. And usually deathbed confessions are considered to be indisputable. If somebody makes a confession on their deathbed, it's accepted as the court.
You would think that they would be doing that as a kind of a remorse or guilt, guilt to get that out before they go to the other side.
Yep, that could be the. There was another witness, much of the caliber of Dr. Rich, Edgar Mitchell, the former chief of intelligence for the Joint Chief of Staff. He requested a briefing on the secret UFO programs that were in place. So he knew enough as the director of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff that there were these programs, and he wanted a briefing on them. He was denied the briefing based on a need-to-know basis. Furious after this rejection, he went on to recount to a CNN interview in 2008 and said indeed that he was told, "Sorry, Admiral, but you don't have the need to know. Goodbye." So it's interesting what dynamic, how members of the government, and apparently, according to some of these witnesses, even the President of the United States
plausible deniability,
doesn't have a high enough clearance to be briefed on this stuff. And I'm not sure who would make that, how you could hold that argument, because the President of the United States
who's
just
more powerful than him?
Take a battalion of Marines and say, we're going to look around.
But they don't do that.
Nope,
they don't do
not.
that.
So these witness statements give some credibility to the arguments that Dr. Greer made about some of the types of research going on at Dugway Proving Ground, this Area 52.
We might want to say maybe 52 and a half, because from some of the research I've done, I've seen there is about 60 miles from the Groom Lake area there at 51. They have established another site that they're conducting more research on things at. So when we say Dugway, I'm talking, we might say 52 and a half or even 53.
Okay.
But and I didn't get too in depth with the research I did as far as what they're doing, but they have decided to go further away and do more things so more people don't know what they're doing.
Well, they spread the stuff around.
Right.
Well, Dugway has some interesting history.
Yes.
In March 14th of 1968, an F-4 family, it was a test day. They did 3 tests on that day. The first test was they released a bunch of VX nerve agent.
Yep.
And the test went okay. They didn't have any trouble. And then they fired some VX nerve agent from an artillery round, and that went okay. They didn't have any trouble. And the third test was a F4 Phantom that had a 1,000-gallon tank attached to it.
Right.
And they flew this out to a certain spot and opened the valve and dumped the VX. Now, VX is a nerve agent. It initially, and I didn't know this, I learned this in spite of all my NBC training, that it was originally developed as an insecticide.
Right.
That it was taken off the market because it was too powerful. And so the military got a hold of it because they were looking for things that kill people. And they got a hold of this VX and made it even more deadly.
Weaponized it.
And weaponized it. And so this F4 Phantom, when it was dropped, it stopped it to drop, and the pilot had turned the valve off that would stop the VX from being released. But apparently it was faulty.
And
as he went up into the air, there were a minute amount of this VX that was released into the atmosphere. It wasn't very much, but apparently it was enough to kill almost 4,000 sheep.
Yeah.
And made several of the locals ill. Now, nobody fell over dead because of nerve agent. Nerve agent is highly toxic. It doesn't take
really lucky.
A pin drop to be a fatal dose for a human. But it was enough to kill these sheep and make some locals sick. And the Army said, yeah, okay, we'll buy new sheep for you. But we didn't do anything wrong. They have never, as of up today, accepted responsibility for what happened.
Right. Yep.
So, that's the government for you. It wasn't us. When we talk about HARP, we know that organizations of the government can keep secrets. And the three reasons: it was really stupid, it was really expensive, or military necessity. So which of the two do you think that this sheep death...
Yeah, exactly.
It was really stupid. So it's classified. There was also an incident several years later where a bunch of dead horses were found. Somebody made a complaint that, hey, these dead horses, I was watching them, they just fell over dead. The first military police officer to arrive on the scene said that the horses had looked like they had fallen over right where they were, and they had very almost injured nose and mouth areas. The Army turned around and said, nope, they died of dehydration. And...
Well, it is pretty deserty out there.
Well, it is pretty deserty, but they were they were within 100 yards of a water source. There was argument made that the water source had been changed and the horses got confused. And I don't know. Horses know where water is. They're not that silly.
They use a horse to find water for you. Yeah.
So I think they just ignored that. Oops, we did it again. And the individual, this police officer, this military police officer, became ill with nerve agent-like symptoms, and he was treated for those symptoms. And then when he went to make a claim,
didn't happen.
Later, there was no record of him being treated or of any incident having happened. So, well, the government never lies. So he's probably making it up, right?
Well, I got a case I can tell you about. The time that I've been out there and doing what we did out there, one of the other soldiers that was with me, they were doing some testing out there, and these guys are in their pretty white spacesuits, and of course we're told to stay away from them, don't go anywhere near them, which we didn't. Well, next thing you know, one of the soldiers that was with me, the whole left side of his face went black. Completely black. Like it had been burned.
Ruh-roh.
Well, they sent him to the Tooele hospital in Tooele, and the emergency room had nothing to do with him when they found out he was from Dugway. So they sent him to the University of Utah, and they treated him at the burn center and sent him home. And then he did get better, but then several years later, when that same soldier was with me on when we deployed to Iraq, he went blind in that eye, and they sent him to a hospital in Germany, and they fixed him. So I'm not sure what he got exposed to at Dugway years earlier, but it's hard to say, and he can't get any compensation for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're going to come back and
firsthand
we'll pick
news.
this up
Firsthand
on
stuff.
the other side of the break.
Plow through the fake national news blizzard with the only true live local 2A talk station, K-Talk Media, 1640 AM.
If you ever wanted a quality greenhouse built in less than a week, then Herb Shack is your answer. This is not one of those cheap greenhouses that you find in your neighbor's yard after a windstorm or collapses when the snow falls. The Herb Shack produces quality greenhouse options that look cool and are guaranteed for 20 years. It's time to plan winter's harvest right now. The Herb Shack can have a greenhouse, large or small, installed before Halloween. For more information about an Herb Shack greenhouse, contact Gabe at 801-472-0428. That's 801-472-0428. The Herb Shack produces quality greenhouse options and are guaranteed for 20 years. Contact Gabe at 801-472-0428. 801-472-0428. That's 801-472-0428.
In this time of caring and giving, K-Talk Media wants your help to provide Christmas trees for those in need. Brighten a family's holiday by going to ktalkmedia.com and click on Donate or call 801-253-4883. Every $35 donation allows K-Talk to provide a $70 tree to a family in need. If you would prefer to gift the tree to someone you know that has a need, we can provide you with a voucher when you donate, and you can gift the tree directly. Nothing says Christmas like a Christmas tree. Visit ktalkmedia.com or call 801-253-4883. That's 801-253-4883. Donate a tree and brighten someone's holiday.
When your grandma needs to make it to bingo night so she can school some hipsters through a blizzard in 3 feet of snow, across a river, and over some trees in the woods, with her whole crew in the back, knitting sweaters, red, white, and blue sweaters, jamming to Frank Sinatra and tapping the steering wheel in time to the music, she chooses a vehicle from Plan B, not just because it's the toughest machine around, but because it's easy to drive in any situation, and has her favorite upgrades like that boom and sound system. So step up to the ultimate SUV with Plan B. Visit us at 194 West 33rd Street in Ogden, Utah. Online at planbsupply.com or give us a call at 801-675-4321. That's 801-675-4321. Customized Humvees and military trucks. Plan B. Because what else would the baddest grandma in the world drive?
Since 1962.
Welcome back to Dr. Grimmy's old-time medicine show and conversation extravaganza. We're talking about secret bases. We're talking right now, we've been talking about Dugway.
Dugway.
And some of this, it's just down the road from us.
It's down the road, but if that stuff gets away from it, it's going to be down here.
Didn't they use Dugway as kind of the setting? Wasn't that kid in the unit that he went to be a part of the movie The Stand?
Correct.
He smiled and he...
Yeah, and they
he
picked
never
him up.
stopped smiling.
Yep.
And they told him not to smile, and he did anyway. And you can see him in the movie smiling.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used Dugway as kind of the...
Kind of like a...
where that
particular part happened.
Biological stuff got loose
where it got loose from.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a... that's a scary...
And there's actually, if you've ever read any of Dean Koontz, he has a book called Phantoms. And the book is based on what they call the ancient enemy, and it's basically this. It's a type of evil that's been on the earth for millions of years. Well, they in the book they call to have a unit from Dugway that deals with biological, chemical, and warfare come to investigate in this town, which would be back east, and it annihilates them.
Right on.
And so this particular entity was believed to be what caused the dinosaurs to extinct. It ate them all.
Oh my goodness! Well,
And
now
so
you're scaring me.
that's kind of out there.
We're gonna
but
leave Dugway in the dust.
Yeah,
because it's
leave it
starting
out
to
there.
scare me. So let's talk about another secret base in the United States, Cheyenne Mountain.
Oh yeah, that's another one we know about.
Home of NORAD.
Yeah.
This Cheyenne Mountain monitors all the planes that are flying in the United States. It monitors the locations of the president and vice president. It's big enough to hold about 800 people, and it's stocked to last for 30 days. If you closed all the doors,
Right.
people could live there for 30 days, and maybe longer if they were a little more careful with their
And they also monitor all the
chicken
satellites,
nuggets. Yep.
everything that goes around the
Space-
Earth.
Space Command.
Space Command.
So Cheyenne Mountain is a you've seen it in a lot of movies.
Yep.
They show that front entrance all the time where it says Cheyenne Mountain.
Yeah, they've
And
had it in several
they've
TV
got the
series.
Right, they've got the
Yeah.
little E2 standing there at the gate.
I think you went there one
was,
time.
Well, it was an accident. I
You-
wasn't
you didn't
supposed
mean
be
to go
there.
up there, but you did.
So
Yep.
as you're leaving Fort Carson, and we had been on Fort Carson, and I was told, go back to the base. Now, I'm from Utah,
Correct.
and when you get on a clover leaf, right?
You don't know what you're doing.
If you're going to go north on the freeway, you go north on the freeway. You turn left. Now, apparently, to go north on the freeway, you don't turn left. You go right
In Colorado.
in Colorado. But I went left.
Yeah.
And so I ended up on this small, tiny road.
And you were by
And
yourself,
I'm
right?
in a
You were all
Hemet.
by your
I'm by
great
myself,
big
yep.
Hemet.
We were all going
Hemet.
back as we finished what we were doing.
Right.
In our Hemets, which is a 60-foot long, 8.5-foot wide,
10-ton vehicle.
10-ton vehicle. Well, that hauls ammunition primarily.
Yeah, howitzer ammunition hauler.
So here I am up in this little tiny road, and it's not a very big road. The Hemet is going over the edges.
Wow.
So I'm like, I'm not going to be able. I realize I see the big sign that says "Warning: Do not enter restricted area. Deadly force is authorized."
Right.
And I'm like, oh man, I took the wrong turn. I ended up on the road that I was told not to go on.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a Hemet. I can't turn around. And I said, I don't want to drive all the way to the front gate because they're just going to have to back me down the mountain.
Correct.
But I figured that's what I'm stuck doing. So I get in, I drive a little bit farther, and I see this little turnoff, like they had a little powerhouse of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
I figured, well, I can pull in there and then back up and turn around.
Do like a 45.
Right. So I pull in there
45
and I back up, and I run over that giant sign. Caught it on the corner of the Hemet and just flattened it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I am in so much trouble. And I look around, and it's essentially in the middle of nowhere. I said, okay, nobody saw me.
And you
I've got to get out of here. That was my first thought. So I slam it into gear and I stomp on the gas.
And that's not...
Which you're not supposed to do in a Hemet.
It basically causes too much pressure to build up
and I blew
within
the fuel
engine.
separator
And
killed my Hemet.
And killed it.
So there I am, stuck on Cheyenne Mountain. I get on the CB. We put CBs for just this kind of event. Not exactly, but
pretty
pretty much.
If you needed help.
Hey, I need help. Where are you? I'm on the mountain. He says, you're not supposed to be, back and forth about why I'm not supposed to be there. He comes up. My friend comes up, looks around. We put some cones out. We're like, we're going to have to go down and get maintenance.
Yep.
And we go down and we get maintenance, and they come back. And I told them I had killed the sign, and there's no sign.
Oh, wow.
There's no evidence of any sign. And I'm like, no, really. Because I had been a drinker in my days, and so everybody's
you
thinking
weren't-
that I had been
you
imbibing.
better not been then.
again. And so I'm like, no, there was a sign. I ran it over. There was a sign, and there was no evidence of a sign. I'm like, what is going on?
Wow.
So the commander shows up, and he's like, okay, well, let's just get the truck fixed and get out of here. And then they start thinking, well, we probably should report this as an accident
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
to the mountain, to the people. So they drive up to the front gate that you see in the movies, and they tell the little E2 gate guard there, because the gate guard is always the lowest ranking guy.
Most of the
Because it's the
time,
most
yeah.
boring place to be.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any idea about it. And so that initiates a security response. So a bunch of Ninja Turtles come flying out of the mountain down to where the Hemet is damaged.
I bet
And
you.
they're
I bet
all-
you were feeling funny.
Right. So now the battalion commander shows up because he's hearing kind of on the radio that stuff's going on. He shows up and he's like, okay, we spilled some fuel on the ground. That's a bad thing. So I want you to throw some dirt on it, fix the truck, and get out of here. They're like, okay, we can do that. Well, the security guys are now looking for the driver of the vehicle.
Right.
And, of course, they don't want to give me up. So I end up down on Fort Carson being driven around, hiding with all of the sections. And they're playing as the Air Force.
Passing you around so nobody can find
he's
you.
over there, he's over there, he's over there. They couldn't find me.
Right.
So the chaplain hears that Sergeant Grimm is in trouble. And he was my friend. You always want to make friends with the chaplain. He goes up to the base to give a good word on my behalf. Well, by now, the commander of the mountain, the 4-star general, has kind of caught wind of what's going on, and he shows up.
Wow.
Wondering what's going on. And the chaplain, figuring he's going to talk to the biggest guy on the block, says, hey, I'm Chaplain so-and-so, and I just want to say that the guy who did this is a good guy. It's not, and he's like, I don't care. You want to look around.
Oh, wow.
And he takes the chaplain on a tour of Cheyenne Mountain.
And I believe our commander went too, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
when they
that-
said it was a great tour, we can't talk about it.
Can't say anything,
Can't
but
say
we
anything,
got
but
to
we
do
had
it.
a good time, yep.
So in a sense, they got a good fun time out of it because of you and
Right.
you not knowing what a clover leaf does.
Yeah, and that was it. I did not know turning left was not the same as turning right in Colorado.
I actually would have probably done the same thing.
I don't know how, well, so now I'm getting chewed out. My commander is looking at me and he's like, you're an NCO, you should know better, and you shouldn't have been doing this, and you shouldn't have done that. And all of a sudden, the Alpha battery truck drives by, and he looks at me, and I see he goes back, and then you keep yelling at me, he keeps yelling at me, and then another Alpha battery truck goes by. And he keeps yelling at me, and then another Alpha battery truck goes. And he finally goes, okay, I can see maybe how you might have made a mistake.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because all of Alpha Battery did the same thing that I did.
From what the bit I got later about all that, they watched you and they seen you do all of
Yeah, it was
it.
all on camera.
Everything was
Everything on
filmed.
camera, and they couldn't figure it out, so they didn't respond immediately.
Yeah, they weren't sure what was going on.
What was he doing?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing, so they had that going for them.
But it's a good thing that it all worked out good and nobody.
Yeah, it was just,
so.
I'm sure that nothing happens at that place because it is it has such an aura. It's like a big haunted house. Nobody wants to go there.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't want to get shot with M16. So.
Right. Yeah. Getting shot is unpleasant.
And I'm sure that from what I've heard, and I'm sure you have too, they have ground sensors. They have, from what I understand, they have automatic weapons that come up and open up.
That's
what
they said. You
and
said,
why did they
it's
put?
It's a good thing you didn't drive off the road. To turn around,
yeah, because it could have triggered something.
Defenses.
Yeah,
which was kind of scary. I was like, well, I'm glad.
There's an active duty Army base right next to it.
Yeah,
that tells you something right there. So
well, it's I don't know about those times, but. I think that they've taken some of Cheyenne Mountain and put it in other locations.
I don't think that. Yeah, like you're saying,
an
where
alternate command now.
I mean, we still have the ICBMs that they, to protect us, our nukes that everybody refers to. But I think that they don't control it all from there because if your enemy knows where you control everything from, you know, it's better to spread that stuff all over.
Well, they went to great lengths to figure out Cheyenne Mountain. They wanted it to be solid granite and without any weak, what they call weak streams in the granite, and that's what Cheyenne Mountain was, a very solid and hard granite. But they have moved. They've got a site they call Site R.
Oh, wow.
It's Raven Rock Alternative Command Center.
Raven Rock.
And it's because Cheyenne, after 9/11, was too small for everybody to get to it. Everybody and their dog apparently wanted to get back to work, whether they were on schedule or not. And it caused a lot of crowding. So they decided they needed to move stuff around a little bit to make it easier for a large number of people.
Well, you're saying it's 800 people. Probably I mean, it's 2 battalions.
Yeah,
that,
so
you know,
you get, let's say you get everybody showing up to work, 2,400 people.
Oh man.
Where are you gonna? There's no parking.
No.
So they have this Site R that they don't talk much about, other than it's not as secret as you think. If you are approved to participate in the Camp David for a Day program, I don't know what that is, but I guess they let you go to Camp David for a day and look around. As part of that event, you get a security background check done and all that, because Camp David is another one of those secret bases, as it were.
Yeah, you bet.
For the president to hang out away from the city. But if you get authorized to go to Camp David for a day, then you're also given a tour of this Site R, a public tour that they don't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
But
well, I don't think many civilians are going to have anything to do with that.
There is a 6-mile tunnel from Camp David to Site R. So if the president needed to go from Camp David to this alternate command site,
they could rush him. They could rush him right there
without the aliens seeing him do that. They say that in that area, we're coming up on a break. We'll pick this up after this. This is the top of the hour. We're going to get the news. Be sure to donate for Christmas tree. $35, double your money. We give a $70 tree to a family in need. Give us a call here at K-Talk, 801-253-4883, and we'll hook you up.
Remember when social media was a pen and paper and a note you passed in class? Do you remember when your telephone came in 2 colors and hung on the wall? Back in those days, erecting a building, garage, or warehouse took months, sometimes a year. Times they have changed, but there is some good news. You can get a beautiful warehouse, garage, or building constructed in just days with tons of natural light and a 20-year guarantee. If you are interested, you need to contact Gabe at Brightspan Building. You can reach Gabe at 801-472-0428. 801-472-0428. That's 801-472-0428. You can also find his contact information on the K-Talk Media advertisers page. Brightspan Building. Beautiful warehouse, garage, or building constructed in just days with a 20-year guarantee. 801-472-0428.
Are you among the millions of Americans who feel uncertain when it comes to their health care? We are happy to inform you that there is a solution, and that solution is Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of like-minded people who work together to pay for their medical costs. You choose your doctor and hospital, starting at $107 a month for a single, up to $449 a month for a family. That's mom, dad, and all the kids. For more information, call 855-585-4237 or visit libertyhealthshare.org. That's libertyhealthshare.org.
Everyone builds SUVs, but when you're ready to step up to the ultimate off-road machines available, there's only one place to go. Plan B Supply in Ogden builds customized Humvees and military trucks ready for anything you can throw at them. Not only do they look mean and have the ultimate upgrades available, but they're built with a purpose, for people with a purpose. Everyone's SUVs are decent when the roads are slick, but Plan B's SUVs are for when you want to make your own road through tough terrain. You're listening to the all-new K-Talk Media, KBJA 1640 AM, Sandy, Salt Lake, and the entire Wasatch Front, bringing you live, local two-way talk.
More California wind, the Heisman Trophy. I'm Richard Johnson. California, as the Santa Ana winds are forecast to blow up to 50 miles an hour overnight, and humidity is in the single digits. That means more bad news on the fire lines, including the Thomas Fire in Ventura County. Correspondent Kyung Law is watching the horizon.
It's a giant plume that you can see across this county, the fire growing, expanding into Santa Barbara County. Even though this is contained, 15% say firefighters, this is a very dangerous fire. 15,000 structures are threatened.
In the east, it is snow and cold and rain, the first big snowmaker of the season.
Nearly 2 feet in northeast Georgia, about a foot in the Atlanta suburb of Mableton, 7 inches down in Corpus Christi. The snow continues, the system moving up the east coast, but it's moving very quickly. Anywhere from 2 to 4 inches in the big cities, maybe 4 to 6 up in sections of New England.
Meteorologist Gene Norman on the storm that's not all that huge, but has disrupted a lot of air travel this weekend. They opened the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum today in Jackson, but some big names of the movement were not there, protesting the presence of President Trump. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker was in Alabama campaigning for fellow Democrat Doug Jones, saying bad people get elected when good people don't vote. Jones faces Republican Roy Moore in Tuesday's special Senate election. Moore has been accused of several sexual misconduct incidents dating back about 40 years. In New York, not a lot of surprise when they awarded the top individual prize in college football.
This year's Heisman Trophy winner is Baker Mayfield of the University of Oklahoma.
Mayfield's the 6th Oklahoma player to win the Heisman after leading the Sooners to a 12-1 season and a spot in the college playoffs. Army's going to a bowl game this year, but the Cadets just won what's always their biggest game, beating Navy 14-13 in Philadelphia. I'm Richard Johnson.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And because Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular set, complete with a razor, one of their world-famous blades, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free if you cover shipping. A total value of $20 at no cost to you, with code 1157 at checkout. Their way of saying thank you for trying them. How is Harry's able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures the blades. That's how. Go to harrys.com now and enter code 1157 at checkout to claim your free trial set and post-shave balm. That's harrys.com, code 1157.
Most of us are taking on more debt, and the experts say that's not such a bad thing.
The Federal Reserve reports consumers increased their borrowing by $20.5 billion in October. It's the biggest gain since borrowing rose by $24.5 billion in November of 2016. The category that covers auto loans and student loans was up by more than $12 billion, while borrowing in the category that covers credit cards rose by more than $8 billion. Consumer borrowing is closely watched by economists to determine consumers' willingness to take on more debt to support their spending. Marla Smajeris, Washington.
Two of Seattle's biggest companies are in the holiday spirit. Microsoft's offering a different deal each day, available online and at Microsoft stores. Starbucks is just flat giving stuff away in the form of $20 gift cards. Starbucks employees are going to community events all over the country, giving out 50,000 of those cards. I'm Richard Johnson.
If you ever wanted a quality greenhouse built in less than a week, then Herb Shack is your answer. This is not one of those cheap greenhouses that you find in your neighbor's yard after a windstorm or collapses when the snow falls. The Herb Shack produces quality greenhouse options that look cool and are guaranteed for 20 years. It's time to plan winter's harvest right now. The Herb Shack can have a greenhouse, large or small, installed before Halloween. For more information about an Herb Shack greenhouse, contact Gabe at 801-472-0428. That's 801-472-0428. The Herb Shack produces quality greenhouse options and are guaranteed for 20 years. Contact Gabe at 801-472-0428. 801-472-0428. That's 801-472-0428.
Are you concerned about your health care? Are you worried about paying the Obamacare IRS penalties? I want to tell you about a legally exempt way to plan for unforeseen medical expenses that allows you to break free from insurance. It's called MedicalCostShare.com. The Medical Cost Share program allows you to be exempt from the ACA individual mandate, including the IRS penalties. It allows you to choose and keep your doctor and hospital because there are no networks, no HMOs, no PPOs, and you can go anywhere in the country. It even includes naturopathic and other alternative treatments according to the guidelines. 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 According